Thanks for staying with us on Bill O'Reilly in the Miller Time segment. Tonight, let's get right to the sage of Southern California. He joins us now from Santa Barbara. So you've been listening. You listened to the condoms in a jar segment. You say?
Yeah. Nothing makes me laugh harder than when you get uncomfortable and squeamish about stuff. When Janine Pirro's sitting there in the sleeveless wife beater dress going, and the egg goes up and boom, you're out of there. You can't even listen to it anymore.
You got to move the conversation along. You know what I mean? Okay.
Now let me ask you this, Billy, just so I get the story straight. A kid can get a prophylactic in a vending machine at grade school now, but he can't get a juice box or a Zagnut. Is that what's happening
or
here
he can't have a soda more than 12 ounces. So,
well, how's about we say the condom's ribbed and ribs cause obesity? Would that work?
Listen, I am so confused about this whole thing, which is what you saw in that segment. All right, let's get into Condoleezza Rice, possibly running with Mitt Romney. Your name's been floated out there, and you say?
Listen, I like Condoleezza Rice. I hope she doesn't run. You know, she's never been a political player. I wouldn't wish these times on anybody. I think we live in crappy times. She seems like a nice woman. She plays piano. She looks great. She's bright as anybody on the planet. She's so sweet. I wouldn't wish that swamp on her in a million years. You know, Condi, stay out of it. You're a civilian, the brightest civilian on the block, but you don't have to answer the call. You did your part. Enjoy life. It's crap out there right now.
Who would you like to see? I think we discussed this before, but I forget. Who, if you were in charge and you were making the call, who would be the VP guy or gal?
Well, you know me, Mr. Smith and Walensky goes to Washington. I think Big Chris Christie ought to step up.
All right, you'd like to see the action man. The action
yeah, he's got sharp elbows. Billy, Romney and Christie would be like Kevin Costner and Sean Connery in The Untouchables. You know, Romney could play the Kevin Costner, Elliot Ness good guy, and then he could play Sean Connery, and, you know, Chris could come in and say, that's how you get rid of the Chicago way. You know, that sort of thing.
Well,
Tough
it should be action-packed.
Won't take crap.
But what if Christie gets somebody in a headlock and breaks their jaw, which would probably happen on day 3 of the campaign?
Yeah, well, if he could break Biden's jaw, Biden couldn't talk, and he might make a lot more sense to me.
All right. Miller. All right, so Miller, I'm going to write it down. And this is serious now. Christie's got to get on this Jessica's Law thing now. He's got to get on that. But, all right, so Christie.
Yeah, what's that about, Billy? Can we,
I don't know whether they,
I don't
both
get
Cuomo and I'm going to go on a campaign. Now I'm going on a campaign. Both Governor Cuomo and Governor Christie, you got to pay attention to this. You can't have child rapists getting 2 years in prison. That's not going to sit in New York State. I live here. If I have to go to Albany and camp outside, I'm going to do that.
Well, listen, you know how I said you get squeamish about certain things and you're off the case? You're indefatigable. You're McGruff the crime dog on protecting kids. So
Absolutely.
Good for you. Tear them a new one, Billy.
Well,
tear them a new one. That's what the factors
We're going to get Jessica's Law in Jersey and New York, and I don't care what the excuses are. We're going to go get it. All right, now, American Idol. I mean, what Jennifer Lopez and the guy from Aerosmith, and they don't want to do it anymore. Miller, what is happening to American civilization?
They should turn that show over every year. I just hope John Roberts doesn't go over there now and judge, because he's proven himself insane.
You should be a judge. Miller, let's do a write-in campaign. Miller should be a judge. They got Howard Stern on that other show, don't they? Isn't Howard sitting there? You should be on American Idol.
I would love to be an American Idol judge in a second. J-Lo can replace Roberts on the Supreme Court, although she doesn't need the robe. She looks better without it. Roberts and I go over, and we redo the show. And better yet, we do a hybrid where we combine American Idol and Hunger Games. In each week, the loser has to run for his life. That's what would reinvigorate that show.
All right, well, I want everybody to write in to Fox Broadcasting and say Miller has got to replace the Aerosmith guy. Do we know where the Aerosmith guy's going? Where do Aerosmith guys go? I think they live in Boston, don't they? Don't they live up there?
At this point, I can't tell the Aerosmith guy from a Senor Wences puppet.
I got to tell you the truth. When I first saw this guy, I thought he was a Comanche Indian. I thought this was a Western. I thought that we were going to have, like, bringing back Wagon Train. And
you know
what?
I've crossed paths with him, Billy, and he's a
good
very
guy?
funny.
Yeah,
he's a good Boston guy, but the look, man, is getting really bizarre.
I mean, you know, how much longer can we go with the extensions? He's 97 years old.
This is my grandpa, Norma Desmond.
Now, Miller, I have to confess, I don't eat a lot of French food because I heard if you do, then you're compelled to wear a beret, and I don't like the look. Frogwa, is that how you say it? Frogwa?
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, listen, Billy, it's a goose's liver, and they shoot the goose with food and make his liver fat, and you eat it. And can I tell you, it tastes great.
Does
now
it?
they want, you can't have foie gras in California. And listen, I know when I my head hits the pillow at night, I shouldn't be able to sleep because Daffy and Donald Duck are at a self-serve island getting fed grain out the wazoo. But we're talking about a world where they're taking kids in some of these countries and doing the most atrocious things to them. I'm sorry, they're geese at some point. It tastes good. Give it a shot.
So,
that's all.
Let me get this straight, though. California is outlawed frogwa because the goose is misfed?
Yeah.
That's why.
Well, listen.
Did Jerry Brown sign that bill?
The goose is too full of grain. Everybody else in California is full of something else, but the goose has too much food in it.
But it's worse here because a goose in New York City can't buy a 16-ounce soda. Did you know that?
Hey,
and the geese are outraged. They're flying down going, give me the big gulp right now.
You ever been goosed on the subway? Trust me, it's worth a lot more.
Dennis Miller, everybody. There he is on deck.